In this video, I want to talk about the keys to fast therapy. Now, notice what I said there, fast therapy, not fast hypnosis. If you've followed my channel for any amount of time, you know I'm not a big fan of even worrying about the hypnosis. We don't talk about the hypnosis. You guys are here to obviously learn how to do therapy correctly. Has nothing to do with hypnosis. Therapy and hypnosis have nothing to do with each other. So in this video, let's talk about the keys to fast therapy. Now, firstly, why would you want to get faster at doing therapy? Well, it's very simple. Not only from a business point and earning more money and spending less time with clients and more time doing the social media, doing the strategy calls, making the extra money that you need. It's also to realize that clients are time poor, guys. No client on the face of this earth, if they have the option, would ever say, I want to spend more time with the therapist than get the therapy done quicker. You can not only charge more for faster therapy, but you're letting your clients get on with their life. It's less effort for them. They're time poor. They have other things they want to do. There is no client on the face of this earth that'll ever say, I want to spend more time with my therapist than get it done quicker. It's just never going to happen. So in this video, like I said, let's talk about the keys to fast therapy, not fast hypnosis. So the first thing I want to talk about is, guys, do the therapy first. Now, I know I'm the only therapist out there, hypnotherapist, whatever you want to call it, talking about doing the therapy first. The reason we want to do the therapy first, just a quick overview. I'll leave a video below on why this is so important. And it really is the biggest key to doing faster therapy and becoming a better therapist all over, is because when you do the therapy first, the hypnosis becomes naturally occurring. Naturally occurring hypnosis as a part of doing the therapy first is way more powerful than forced hypnosis, forced techniques, forced regressions. I've talked about this at nausea. I'll leave some videos below to check that out. But the overview, guys, we're always concentrating on doing the therapy first. Forget about the hypnosis. Next is a big one. Stop trying to solve the problem. Whenever you go into a session and you start trying to solve the problem because you think this is not going quick enough, nothing's happening, when are they going to have their breakthrough? All you're going to do is push your clients too much, which creates a lot of resistance, but also you're going to put pressure on yourself to perform. One surefire way to forget about everything you need to do as a therapist is put pressure on yourself. When things aren't working, don't try harder, because that pressure will make it even worse. And overall, we're just going to go round in circles with your client. So stop trying to solve the problem, guys, and resistance that creates resistance. Realize this, guys, your client doesn't know what the problem is. You don't know what the problem is. You have no idea what their outcome could be. You won't even know what technique to use until it needs to happen naturally. So stop putting pressure on yourself. Don't try and solve the problem. Next, number 3, stop thinking you know what the problem is. This is a big one based on your own conclusions. Now, it's unfortunate. A lot of mentors will teach their therapy students stuff like, all problems exist because of anxiety, all problems exist because of childhood trauma. Already, your mentor is creating a ceiling for the results that you can get with your clients, because they're giving you probably what they've just regurgitated from what they learned, but they're also telling you that they know more about your clients than you do. And you don't even know who your clients are yet, guys. So stop thinking you know what the problem is. You'll have no idea. Your client will have no idea. I've come out of most of my sessions with my lawyers and even our ACH trainings when we're training our therapists and we do a lot of demos. I still don't even know what the problems for those demos are, and I don't need to know what they are. As soon as you start thinking you know what the problem is, or you bring in your own thoughts and conclusions, you are now going to steer the session to the way that you want to go that matches your technique. So while your client's over here saying, hey, fix this, you're over here fixing this thing instead. Stop thinking you know what the problem is, because you don't. No matter how many therapy certificates you have on the wall, you're making conclusions. You're going to make things a lot harder on yourself. Next, this is a big one. Do not prime your sessions. Do not prime your sessions for time, or even give an overview of the session. Now, let me give you an example of what priming is. Priming tends to happen when the therapist will start telling the client, this is how the session will go. This is generally how long it'll take. And during the session, you might feel this, you might experience this. I might ask you some questions that seem a little bit confusing. Just go with it. Stop doing that. You want to catch your client unaware. As soon as you start telling your clients this thing, you're creating what are called reference points. If I create a reference point and tell my client it'll probably take us 5 sessions, which you do not need 5 sessions for any real problem, and I get the problem solved in one, my client can easily turn around and say, hey, no, thanks for getting rid of my problem, but I want a refund on the last 4 sessions because I don't need them. So from a business point, don't do it. But also, you don't know how long it's going to take. As soon as you start priming things that are outside of your control, your client will expect those things to happen. Next is an overview of the session. I get my students to ask me this a lot, like, Scott, during the ACH investigation phase, I know my client gets very confused with my question. Some of my questions. Should I tell them at the start that it will be confusing? And my answer is always no. Confusion is a great thing. Now, I don't mean ridiculous confusion because of the language patterns they're using. That's not the right type of confusion. That just sounds stupid and your client have no idea where you're going and they'll create resistance. I'm talking about confusion as to they don't know where the session's going. New ideas are coming to their mind that they've never thought of before. This creates confusion. This is a great thing. It's like catching your clients unaware. So the only thing you need to prime is the processing chat. And I'll talk about this in a later video this week, the processing chat. But for now, where you start the therapy session is just what's the problem? You don't need to talk about anything else beforehand. I think a lot of therapists talk about this stuff because they're killing their own nerves or they don't really know where to start. Just dive straight into the session. Nothing else needs to happen. So just avoid talking about the priming part, the time. Don't talk about an overview of the session. Just get into it, guys. Your clients don't need to even know the history of hypnosis. Just get into it. Number 5, do not prepare for a session, guys. How can you? With clients having so many different thoughts and ideas and conclusions, root cause, things that aren't a real root cause, all of these things, there's so many different myriads and directions that these sessions can go into. What are you preparing for? How can you prepare for anything? This whole idea of preparing a script, then I got the technique, then I have the regression, then I know my visualization, I'm going to do a reframe. How can you prepare for all this stuff? That's like booking a doctor's appointment when you've got a bad knee and your doctor doesn't know why you're coming in, but they sit there and prepare all the medicines and medical devices to fix whatever they think you're going to come in with. So while they've prepared everything to fix your shoulder, here you come in with a sore knee. Hopefully you get my point. Preparing for a session, no matter how you've been trained, guys, is an absolute waste of time. And all you're going to do is extend the length of time with clients and ultimately just going to be spinning around in circles. I've talked about those videos before. Don't prepare for the sessions, guys. Do not prepare any techniques. The same thing. How can you prepare a script? How can you prepare a technique? Now, back to what I was talking about before, about doing the therapy first and stopping your conclusions as to what your client's problem is, you won't know what the client's real root cause is. So you don't need to worry about preparing a technique. So while you're over here preparing a timeline, your client might need to naturally, that's the key word here, naturally have a regression, not a forced one, a natural one that they spontaneously fall into, but you're too busy trying to do a timeline based on your training. Get some common sense with this stuff, guys. You can't prepare the session, you can't prepare the techniques because you have no idea what's going to happen. Next, don't worry about depth, suggestibility test, relaxation. Why? Because we're not worrying about hypnosis. Okay? Solving a client's problem doesn't happen because of the hypnosis. You do not need to have hypnosis for a client to have a breakthrough. Therapy is what gets breakthroughs. It has nothing to do with depth, suggestibility test, relaxation. I've heard the common ideas that only smart people can't go into hypnosis as fast. All these ridiculous things. A lot of mentors are just regurgitating, means nothing. Concentrate on the therapy, guys. You don't have to worry about any of this stuff. Anyone can have therapy. Sure, maybe some people can go into hypnosis a bit quicker, or this thing we call hypnosis, but we don't care because we're here to learn the therapy. Number 8, this is a big one, guys, as an overall. Your mentors create the ceiling for your therapy skills. Now, what do I mean by this? When you do your trainings and your mentor starts telling you that it must take 5 sessions, 6 sessions, 10 sessions, plus an audio, plus homework, they are now setting the ceiling for every one of your clients. When you go into a session, you are now bringing all those ideas with you. And what does that mean? You're basically doing an indirect prime. So when you're talking to clients on a strategy call or doing your social media, or they ask you point blank, you got to be very careful about the words you use. You're also going to be very careful of the things that you believe. Because let's say, for example, you think, because you've been told, you believe that it has to take 10 sessions to quit smoking, whatever it is, 10 1-hour session plus an audio plus some homework and stuff like that. Okay. You go into a session believing that, you'll now indirectly force the session to go down that way. And unfortunately, if you get it done in one session, you'll turn around and go, well, that was too quick. That must mean it didn't work. My client still needs 9 sessions to go. And it creates a myriad of issues, guys. So what we tell our students is, you won't know how long it's going to take. You don't know how many sessions or any of that stuff. Here's how it can happen very, very quickly. The ceiling we set for our students is to not just tell them, but to show them this stuff happens super quick if you stop all of these other 7 things from happening. Okay, guys? So if you want more information on that, guys, we've got an upcoming training course. Our live ACH training course can be very, very soon. There's a link below, but I'll leave some other resource video, guys, in regards to doing the therapy first and some other videos that I think will be helpful. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Bye for now.